All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think everyone listening can relate to, which is, well, air travel.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, we're going to be deep diving into this new app, Flymoon.
Okay.
Now, for our listener, you're really fascinated by all the ways AI is starting to change how we travel. And, well, Flymoon seems to be right on the cutting edge of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's not just about like finding cheap flights, which, don't get me wrong, price is important.
Of course. Yeah.
But Flymoon's all about like the best flight experience possible.
Right. And that's something we all want. Right.
Who doesn't want to, avoid those cramped seats and the bad service and just all the things that can make flying a nightmare?
Absolutely.
So the question is, how does Flymoon actually pull this off?
Well, I think the key here is that Flymoon is really tapping into this idea that travelers are getting more and more savvy.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just looking at the price tag anymore. They want quality and they want transparency, just like we expect from hotels and restaurants these days.
That's a really good point.
So, think about it. You wouldn't book a hotel without checking the reviews first, right?
Absolutely not.
But with flights, we've been kind of stuck with these search engines that basically just show you the cheapest option.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of rolling the dice on what the actual experience is going to be like.
Then more often than not, you end up regretting it.
Exactly. So Flymoon's trying to change that by bringing that same level of transparency to the world of flights.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But, how do they actually do that? What makes Flymoon different?
Well, it all comes down to community.
Community.
Yeah, Flymoon is built on this massive database of user-generated reviews, photos, videos, you name it.
Wow.
And it's all hyper-specific to individual flights and airlines.
Oh, wow. So it's not just like, oh, this airline is good or this airline is bad.
No, it's way more granular than that. It covers every stage of the travel experience, from booking and check-in to, seat comfort, crew service, meals, even baggage claim.
That's incredibly detailed. I'm already seeing how this could be super valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And the goal is to paint a really complete picture of what you can expect on that specific flight.
So you're not going in blind.
Exactly. You're making an informed decision based on the real experiences of people who have actually flown that route.
That makes a lot of sense. But okay, I've got to ask, wouldn't it be kind of overwhelming to sift through all those reviews? We're talking about potentially thousands of reviews for a single flight.
That's a great point, and that's where the AI magic comes in.
AI magic, huh?
Yeah. Flymoon uses artificial intelligence to analyze and summarize all that data.
Oh, I see.
So instead of reading through tons of reviews, you get these quick, actionable insights.
So it's like AI is doing the heavy lifting for me.
Exactly. It can identify patterns, highlight what matters most to travelers, and give you a clear picture of the pros and cons of that particular flight.
So it's not just about, finding the cheapest flight. It's about finding the right flight for you.
Exactly. Flymoon wants to help you find the flight that aligns with your priorities, whether that's comfort, entertainment, or just a smooth, hassle-free experience.
This is starting to sound pretty futuristic.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's also rooted in this very practical need that we all have to make flying a less stressful and more enjoyable experience.
And I think we've all been in those situations where, you book a flight based on price alone, and you end up regretting it big time.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there.
So let's talk about the business side of things for a second.
Sure.
How does Flymoon plan to make this all sustainable? Developing and maintaining an app like this can't be cheap.
Right. So from what we know, they're looking at a couple of different revenue streams.
Okay.
One idea is a premium subscription tier.
Okay.
So this would give users access to even more advanced features like offline tracking, deeper analytics, that kind of thing.
So for the power users who really want to maximize their experience.
Exactly. And then they're also exploring partnerships with airlines and other travel services.
Interesting.
So you can imagine them offering special deals or discounts to Flymoon users.
So it could be a win-win for everyone involved.
That's the goal. Travelers get a better booking experience, and the travel industry gets valuable data and insights that can help them improve their services.
Now that's something I can definitely get behind.
Yeah.
It sounds like Flymoon has the potential to really shake things up in the travel industry.
I think so too. And it's all thanks to this innovative combination of community feedback and AI technology.
But, with any new technology, there are always going to be challenges.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest challenges for Flymoon is going to be dealing with bias.
Bias.
Yeah, I mean, user-generated reviews can be very subjective.
Oh, for sure.
And there's always the risk of fake reviews or, people just having a bad day and venting online.
Right, right.
So Flymoon's going to have to be really careful about moderating those reviews and making sure that the information people are relying on is actually accurate and trustworthy.
That's a great point. I mean, how do they plan to tackle that?
Well, they're talking about implementing some pretty robust moderation systems.
Okay.
Things like flagging suspicious reviews and maybe even verifying user identities.
So, like, making sure that the people leaving reviews are actually real people who have actually flown those flights.
Exactly. And they're also going to have to be super transparent about how their AI works and what factors it takes into consideration when making recommendations.
Right, because I think transparency is going to be key here.
It is. People need to trust that the information they're getting is reliable and unbiased, especially when it comes to something as important as travel.
Okay, so we've talked about Flymoon's vision. We talked about the potential challenges.
Yeah.
But now I'm really curious about how Flymoon might actually change the airline industry as a whole.
Me too, and I think that's what makes this whole thing so exciting. Yeah, I mean, imagine a world where airlines are actually competing on the quality of the travel experience,
Okay.
not just on price.
Right.
Maybe instead of cramming as many people onto a plane as possible,
Yeah.
they start thinking about like seat comfort, customer service, actually making the experience enjoyable.
That would be a game changer.
Right. And Flymoon could be the catalyst for that kind of shift.
Yeah, I mean, if enough people start making decisions based on these factors,
Right.
airlines are going to have to pay attention.
Exactly. They're going to have to up their game if they want to stay competitive.
That's a future I can definitely get behind.
Me too.
But, okay, let's shift gears for a second and talk about, like, how Flymoon could be even better.
Okay.
What are some areas that, you think have potential for improvement?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is expanding beyond just flight reviews.
Okay.
I mean, they've got this great system for gathering data on flights. But what if they could incorporate even more information?
Like what kind of information?
Think about things like airport amenities,
Okay.
TSA wait times,
Yeah.
in-flight Wi-Fi quality.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, imagine being able to see not just how a flight is rated,
Yeah.
but also like how long the security lines are going to be.
Right.
Or if there's a decent lounge you can access during a layover.
I mean, that would be incredibly useful.
Right. It could take so much of the stress out of traveling.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to be able to, like, plan my entire airport experience based on Flymoon recommendations.
Exactly. It's about creating a seamless and enjoyable journey from start to finish.
Okay, so we've talked about data integration,
Yeah.
but what about the users themselves?
Right.
How do they keep people engaged and contributing to the community?
Well, one thing they're exploring is gamification.
Gamification.
Yeah, so like offering badges, achievements,
Oh, interesting.
giving people a way to kind of build their reputation as a trusted reviewer.
Oh, I see. So it's like turning travel reviewing into a game.
Exactly. And it taps into that natural human desire for, recognition and reward.
Yeah, that's clever.
But I think there's also, a deeper motivation here.
Yeah.
This sense of being part of a community that's actually making a difference.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
By sharing your experiences, you're helping other travelers make better decisions.
Mm.
And you're potentially even influencing the airline industry for the better.
It's like we're all part of this movement to improve air travel.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but let's talk about AI for a second.
Sure.
I mean, we've talked about how Flymoon is using it.
Right.
But are there any potential downsides? Like, are there any ethical concerns we should be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're dealing with AI, there's always that question of bias.
Right.
If the data used to train the AI is skewed in some way,
Mm-hmm.
it could perpetuate those biases in the recommendations it makes.
So, like, for example, if most Flymoon users are business travelers who prioritize things like legroom and Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
the AI might not be as good at recommending flights for, like, families with young children
That's a possibility.
who have totally different needs.
Exactly. So Flymoon's going to have to be really careful about that.
Right.
Making sure the data is diverse, being transparent about how the AI works.
Transparency is key, for sure.
It is, especially when you're dealing with something as complex as AI.
Okay, so let's shift back to the positive for a minute.
Okay.
What are some of the, like, most exciting possibilities you see for Flymoon's future?
Well, one thing that I'm really intrigued by is augmented reality.
AR. How would that even work with air travel?
I mean, imagine being able to use your phone to see information about your flight and the airport environment overlaid on the real world.
Oh, wow.
Like you could point your phone at your seat
Yeah.
and see reviews about how comfortable it is.
Oh, that's cool.
Or you could use AR navigation to find your gate or baggage claim.
I mean, that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, but it's also super practical.
Yeah, I could see that being really helpful.
Right. Especially in a busy airport where it's easy to get lost or confused.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah.
from Flymoon's, core features
Right.
to its potential impact on the airline industry,
Yeah.
and all the way to its future possibilities with things like AR. What are some key takeaways for our listener? Like, why should they care about Flymoon?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that Flymoon is really putting the power back in the hands of travelers.
Okay.
It's about giving you more control over your journey
Hmm.
and letting you make informed decisions based on real-world experiences.
Yeah, it's like taking back control of the flying experience.
Exactly.
It's not just about finding the cheapest flight.
Right.
It's about finding the right flight for you.
Exactly. And by being part of the Flymoon community,
Okay.
you're not just benefiting yourself, you're
Yeah.
helping to create a better flying experience for everyone.
It's like a collective effort to raise the bar for air travel
Yeah,
and make it something that we can all actually look forward to again.
I like that.
So, okay, we've talked about all these big ideas and the potential impact. But for someone listening right now, they might be thinking, okay, great, but what does this actually mean for me?
That's a fair question.
Like, how can Flymoon actually help them?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing is it takes the guesswork out of flying.
Hmm.
Instead of just hoping for the best,
Maybe.
you can actually choose flights based on what matters to you.
So it's about having more control.
Yeah. Like, do you care about legroom?
Yeah.
Is in-flight entertainment important to you?
Right. Or maybe you just want a smooth boarding process.
Exactly. Flymoon lets you prioritize those things.
And it's not just about finding a good flight for yourself.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about contributing to this community.
Right, exactly. Every review you write, every photo you upload, it helps build a more transparent system.
So we're all kind of working together.
We are. It's like we're holding airlines accountable and pushing them to actually care about passenger experience.
And I think that's something we can all get behind.
Absolutely. So I guess that brings us to our final thought-provoking question for you, dear listener.
Okay, hit me with it.
If Flymoon succeeds and this vision becomes reality, how do you think air travel might change in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, will we see fewer budget airlines?
Interesting.
More boutique airlines that focus on specific niches?
Like airlines just for families.
Maybe. Or airlines that cater to business travelers?
Right. Or maybe even like airports themselves start to change.
Yeah. What if airports become more than just these, like, sterile transit hubs?
Oh, I like that.
What if they become destinations in themselves?
With unique experiences and amenities.
Exactly. Catering to a more, discerning traveler.
Oh, that's a future I can get excited about.
I think it all comes down to us, the travelers.
Mhm.
Platforms like Flymoon, they give us a voice and a way to shape the future of air travel.
So if you want better flying experiences,
Get involved.
share your feedback, be part of the change.
Exactly. The power is in our hands.
On that empowering note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the world of Flymoon.
I think so.
It's been a fascinating conversation, and who knows, maybe we'll all be flying in style in just a few years thanks to apps like Flymoon.
One can hope.
All right, that's it for today. Until next time, happy travels.